AM 1160 WCCS. Saturday mornings 9 to noon. We give away lottery tickets too. The Oldies Attic, where the memories come from the music.
Information presented on this program is believed to be factual and up to date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. Discussions and answers to questions do not involve the rendering of personalized investment advice, but are limited to the dissemination of general information. A professional advisor should be consulted before implementing any of the options presented. Encompass More Asset Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC does not imply a certain level of skill or training. And the guys are here. Clinton Smith, Galen Bargerstock.
GCES.
All right, fellas, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're having a great one here today. This is the thing that came out the other day. 1 in 3 Americans think they have a way to strike it rich.
Yeah.
1 in 3 of us think, I know how to do it. I can strike it rich. I'm guessing that if you ever do strike it rich, there are certain things you want to do in order to set yourself up so that those riches that you have now will last for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I do know, just from lottery tickets, everyone says if you win the lottery, you don't tell your friends. That's a good place to start. But I mean, a lot of people I think really do, like the lottery I think is the number one thing that comes to mind in that instance. If people would really look at how much they spend over their lifetime on lottery tickets, it's a good chance that you're not a winner. But there are those people that take and win a lot of money.
Yeah. And there are people that come across money in more traditional ways, Galen, whether it's a great business decision, they work hard and they build up their bank accounts and they do it rather quickly. And so they're young. They have plenty of money put away for retirement. What if they want to start early retirement? Say they're around 45, 50 years of age, and they say, I got enough money, I can go for the rest of my life and not have to worry about finances ever again. What should they be doing in terms of setting that up for the long term?
I'm not going to say it's not possible. I mean, I think the earliest that I've ever actually retired somebody was 50. But you have to build in some certain things. You know, there's certain ways that which you can draw from a 401k to get income coming in off of a tax-deferred, investment. It's a 72T. It's a tax code. But there's a situation for everything, or you might have all your wealth sitting at the bank, or it's not from investments from work, maybe inherited, stuff like that. I get a lot of inheritance. There's a different way to approach every single situation, but the idea is you got to see what you have and how it's going to last you, because if you understand, the rate of returns that you could possibly have, you can take that dollar amount out of, your large chunk of money and make it last a lifetime.
A good way to think of it is if somebody has, let's say $1 million, you can take out, 10% every year typically?
Well, an annuity. If you go into an annuity vessel, usually it's a 10% liquidity per year.
So, but if you're making 9%, you take out 5 or 4%, you're still making 4 or 5%. So that's the way a lot of people will do it is they'll put their money into something that gets them a guaranteed return or a good return, and then they live off the interest.
You guys have worked with military for a lot of years. Military folks can retire at a much earlier age than other folks who wait until they're 65. Yeah. Most of those, and it works this way with some other public sector jobs. I know there are a lot of state police officers, troopers, who retire early, and then they take on jobs in security or in some other way to just keep themselves with money coming in for the rest of their lives. But for those who retire then, I'm not set up for life, but I've got a nice little pension that's going to take care of me for a good long time, and I'm okay. But I want to continue to build wealth headed toward retirement. There are certain circumstances as well, are they not?
Oh, yeah, I get hit with that a lot. So, like you said, military. So military pension has changed. And the military pension is now designed kind of like the federal pension if you would work for the post office or Social Security office. So now you can have certain terms, not 20 years to retire. You can work for 5 years, 10 years, and still be vested to get something. But in general, what you're saying about the specialty positions, yeah, you work 20 years, you collect your pension. It's not really the pensions that care how much money you make in the outside world. It's Social Security's rules of how much money you can make in the outside world that dictates how big of a part-time job a person is getting, or if you're getting a full-time job. Because most pensions, they don't care how much you're making in the outside world. If you're retiring and collecting from them early, well, that's great. You did your time, and it was usually some sort of hazardous duty is why you're getting to retire early.
Yeah.
We work with a lot of postal employees too. They have the ability after 20 years, they can retire at the age of 60. With 30 years of service, they can retire at the age of 56. Them specifically, they get offset Social Security. So they get a portion of Social Security, and it's not even paid from Social Security. It's paid from the post office. But that is to bridge that gap, because that's really where a lot of people are going to have a gap in their income. Mm-hmm. If they retire early, you can't collect Social Security until 62 or 65, 67, whatever age it is. So that's where people have a loss of income because of them not being able to claim Social Security. So that's really just where you have to make up that income in between the time, whether it's 50, 55, and getting to 62. That's where you have to kind of plan for that income. Postal employees get a portion of Social Security, but it's actually paid from the post office. And that's just to bridge that gap from them retiring at 56 till they're actually able to collect Social Security at 62.
Yeah. Now, in these cases, we're talking about people who have been working for others, other agencies, other companies, government agencies, and they reach the age where they want to stop doing that and move on into their retirement years. There are many folks who will take the risk and open a business. And opening that business can be a very, very tricky thing. And there are a lot of businesses that do not have the success that everybody envisioned. They end up losing a ton of money and having to go back into the work sector. But for those for whom it actually works and they're able to set up a business and to run it successfully and make a living off of it, their retirement setup, I assume, Galen, is a very special circumstance as well.
It really just depends on the situation, whether what assets they would have in the past if they are successful, like you said. If they're not, it's not uncommon to have that dream that you've had your entire life to run a business, and now you're retired, you have money on the side, and now you can try to do it. Is it a great idea? Probably emotionally, but owning a business will beat you up. Right? There's ups and downs involved with all of it. I wouldn't say there's anything special other than the fact that you're now going to be the one designing how a pension plan might work for your organization versus working for somebody that's set up that for you with a 401k. So now you might need a simple IRA or just putting money into savings or, a traditional Roth maybe.
We've seen some clients that have started doing really successful businesses after they retire. We've also seen clients that go into retirement wanting to make cabinets and stuff, and they find out, hey, I'm not good at making cabinets. So luckily, I think by the time people are ready to retire, they also have a good grasp on whether or not they can do something, if that makes sense. I think we have a client that started I have a really nice tank top from him, started a hot dog cart in Pittsburgh, and that was his dream retirement. He walks around selling hot dogs. Yeah. So it's really what people want to do. I think a lot of it is that people have the time to do stuff now, and the money should come with it. You know what I mean? I don't think we haven't really seen a lot of people retire and dump all of their retirement funds into a business, trying to get a business off the ground, rather than living off their retirement and building a business, more organically.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. Could you do something? Yeah, everybody could do something. But do you really want to put in all that money and energy after you've already dedicated, all of your time to get where you're at? To each his own. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen people become DJs and stuff too.
There's high success rates of people stopping and opening up businesses, but I don't want to say that it's not uncommon or anything. It happens and it's great, but it's the stress involved with everything. Do you want to take that on?
Sure. Well, we've been talking for the most part during these segments about people in the traditional employer-employee category, and they work for a number of years. They build up whatever savings they have and do so with a 401k or with IRAs or however it is that they do it. And then, okay, it's time to retirement. Have I gone to GCES early enough that I have that all worked out now? Is it time for me to get to GCES because I'll be retiring in a few years? Those are the ones we've generally been talking about. These are more non-traditional. And each of them would probably benefit from just a visit to GCES to find out, okay, well, how do I go about this? Because this is what I have coming in. This is what I anticipate my expenses will be. And hopefully this is the return on that investment. And now I want to get to the point where I can say, okay, there's my target date for retirement, and how do I get there?
Yeah. That's really an easy thing to do. That's honestly a question that we have 5 times a week. And again, different for every single person. It's really, we're all snowflakes. We all have different fingerprints and stuff. Like, everyone's different. It really comes down to what that person has and what they've done over their life. Yeah. And too, now that we've been doing this show and we have been actually actively going to meet with clients in the local area, we've been doing actually a lot of businesses locally too. So I know we've talked a lot about employee, where they come after their employer to us. We've been working with a lot of employers in Indiana now to help them set up their IRAs, their SEPs, or their 401ks. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to, beef up what you're offering to your clients, we've met with several businesses where we meet with all of their employees and help make sure they understand what they're doing. Because a lot of people, even myself, set up the 401k at our business. We set it up and we don't really check on it that often. We just keep putting money in it, and that's a big case for a lot of employers in town too, that they've set it up years ago, and they haven't checked on it recently. They haven't done anything with it, and we can still help them get that rejuvenated and back up and running.
Not such a bad thing to be in that position, but at the same time, there are probably better things that you can do.
Yeah. I don't know until I see it, but I mean, the aspect of working with, like Clinton said, the business owners and things like that, I really like it. One of the biggest pet peeves I had with the government was it wasn't that the pension wasn't great. It's a spectacular pension. They don't tell anybody about it. There's nobody there to tell them or explain them how it works. So, same thing with the employers, the small businesses, I don't just like to talk to the business owner. I like to talk to every employee that's participating to make sure that they understand what's going on track. So it's not the business owner that I'm just, talking to and trying to help. It is the entire staff, the workforce. So it's kind of like build the entire team up.
It's honestly how we built our company. We started working with postal employees, like everyone knows. And honestly, they know nothing about their benefits or their retirement. They all work for the government. None of them know where to call to find out what information. You have to call Social Security if you want to know Social Security. You have to call the TSP if you want to know about the TSP. You have to call OPM, but that's only after you retire. So it's like all of these different places to go where it's hard for people to navigate. You're calling 1-800 numbers, and we kind of make that whole process easier. And it's the same now with employees where instead of an employee calling their employer and asking questions about the 401k that they don't know the answers to, they're able to call us, which is a lot easier.
Yeah. It's been a good segment today.
Yeah.
GCES, folks want to get involved, and maybe there's a company out there that wants you fellows to come in and work with them on their plans, or for somebody who wants to set up their retirement. What should they be doing?
They can give us a call, 724-915-0000. You can also stop into our office. It's 1780 Philadelphia Street. It's really hard to miss our building. There's signs everywhere that say GCES, and you can also visit us online, gces.us.
Thanks, gents.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Just about 25 minutes after 8 o'clock, and it is a Monday morning, Monday, July the 29th. We're on the way to 89 degrees today with clouds and sun. Josh in the newsroom, he's coming by very shortly. We'll take another check of sports in our next half hour. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com at 8:25.
This is Boomer Science with the Sports Minute, sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck and Van Equipment. They're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. This season in the NFL, it will actually be legal for teams to have 12 men on the field in certain circumstances. In windy weather, teams can bring in an extra player to hold for kickoffs, but he cannot otherwise participate in the play. I'm Boomer Science.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
The only thing that stood between him and a wider driveway for his home was the tree. Timber! It's always something. That's why